There was a big supporters party to celebrate the return of FC Edmonton in the new Canadian Premier League held Friday night on the street in front of the Old Strathcona Farmers Market. If they held off until Wednesday, maybe it would have been a celebration for the ages. June 13th is the date of the FIFA vote in Moscow to decide who will host the 2026 World Cup. If the combined bid of Canada, USA, Mexico triumphs, it would virtually guarantee success of FC Edmonton, and the CPL.Commissioner David Cl and FC Edmonton owner Tom Fath took to the stage Friday and spoke to 500-plus fans. Fath's message to the gathering came from where his heart has always been. "I'm excited that we're going to be back playing soccer because a professional team in Edmonton is such an important part of the pathway for youth," Fath told the gathering. "It's not just for the ones who make it but for the ones who don't. The kids need to be able to have the dream of going from the clubs to our academy to the pro team. From the age of 16 to 23 has a hard time making it in Canada for one reason. Where do they play? We're going to have some internationals and qualified coaches because we need a high enough caliber of game for everybody, but it's going to be primarily Canadians and it's going to be exciting. If Canada, USA, Mexico win the combined bid for the 2026 World Cup next week in Moscow, the timing of this league would be incredible. If somebody is coming to the games, they'd be seeing the youth that will end up playing for Canada in 2026. Winning the bid would be wonderful for Canada and Canadian youth," said Fath. With Edmonton, one of 3 Canadian cities that would play host to World Cup games, quite likely including Canadian group play games, there would be a road to the World Cup built in for the Edmonton franchise. You just look at Edmonton and the support that has been shown in the past has been phenomenal. Winning 2026 would just do incredible things for building the whole sport in Canada, and we could be the hub of it right here. If we win the 2026 World Cup, Edmonton is going to go crazy," said Fath. Normally, the news of another Canadian soccer league starting up is soon followed by news of a Canadian soccer league folding. Canadian soccer leagues have come and gone with little or no success in the past, mostly because of fly-by-night owners and more horror stories behind the scenes than good game stories from on the field. And some of the stadiums have been hilariously substandard. It takes 2 things to start a successful sports franchise. 1. Well-heeled owners. 2. Quality stadium. Most of the teams coming into the league have both. Edmonton has exceptional ownership in Tom and Dave Fath, who lost more than $1 million every year running FC Edmonton in the North American Soccer League to a total pushing $10 million. Unfortunately, Edmonton will be the one team starting out in that brutal bandbox of a 4,096 makeshift Clark Stadium, guaranteed to be the eyesore of the league. Fath, I'm assuming, is hoping City Council will be embarrassed by the comparisons to other corporal teams, and finally build the 8,000-seat expandable soccer-specific stadium the sport, at several levels in the city, desperately requires. In my opinion, Fath is too much Mr. Nice Guy and needs to start playing hardball with these common-sense challenged councillors. Edmonton desperately needs to build a soccer-specific stadium in the city and do it now. For us to start, we need to have Clark Stadium with enough improvements that it is a lot better," said Fath. The Fath brothers in Edmonton have never had a chance to make a dime. The last couple of years of the NASL, Tom Fath could have been judged to be certifiably insane. The league will likely to launch with 8 teams including Cavalry FC in Calgary, Winnipeg, Victoria, FC Edmonton, Halifax Wanderers, York and Hamilton. If they play a totally balanced schedule of, say, 36 games per team with 2-game road trips and bus trips to Calgary, that would work out to less than 30,000 air miles. Last season Edmonton ended up flying 64,933 air miles, 76,933 including their training camp in England, to play in a league involving teams located in Puerto Rico, Miami, Jacksonville, North Carolina, New York, Indianapolis and San Francisco. Our travel costs would be less than half and we'd have rivalries and people would get familiar with the other teams and we could build a sustainable franchise that doesn't lose millions of dollars. Heck, the Fath brothers might even be able to break even. Email tjones@postmedia.com and Twitter @byterryjones.